I'm going to have to cut off here. But they say that in end times, there'll be three figures that will write the Antichrist book. And one of them is the Antichrist will be part of it. There'll be a false prophet, and there'll be a hidden figure that will write this type of book. I think it's dealing with a little bit of that. Who is the false prophet in it? Who is the Antichrist that you don't really see? And who is this third evil figure? You know, Russell is definitely probably maybe even representing a little bit of the Antichrist, or maybe the devil figure that's controlling Frank Sheeran, who is one, you know, probably part of this evil. But also, you have to realize too that you know, that's just me kind of seeing symbolism in it. But I saw him as an evil character, Russell controlling, and then Jimmy Hoffa kind of also maybe the false prophet. You know, Jimmy Hoffa could possibly be the false prophet. The Antichrist could be Russell, and then there's the third evil figure in the evil Trinity. But also that Frank Sheeran also is a man too. I don't see him also as like some kind of supernatural evil force, but he's also a man that has flaws and broken and can possibly enter into heaven, and possibly may have entered into heaven. I don't know. If he asks for forgiveness, then yes. That's another thing that I think Scorsese is talking about, bringing in the Catholic Church. I think he's meeting the Catholic with the Protestant in the fact, talking about that personal prayer, and that Frank Sheeran could have gone to heaven, even though he was a horrible, horrible sinner, you know. So another thing too I want to talk about is power too. There's the ring that Russell gives him, and there's this whole aspect of power, and it's like only 3 guys, you know, have this ring. So I don't know if he's talking about the evil Trinity or the false Trinity or whatever. But that was kind of a thing, like the Pope wears a ring too, and then now they're wearing this ring, and that brought them all together as brothers and stuff like that. But you'll have to see the whole movie, and it's just so much layers. It is a masterpiece, and it goes on for like 3.5 hours or 3 hours. This is about a 25-minute post right now. I'm about to cut it off. But you have to look at the whole scope of the movies. There's a lot there talking about religion, Catholicism, maybe even the Protestant church too, and also talking about brotherhood. And ultimately, like I said, it starts off talking about, I think it brings in power. Then we're going to talk about humanity. That's part of it too when you're watching it. It's going to talk about humanity, the father figure, and being in the family. They're going to talk about age, them growing older, and you see them going back in time through time and age, and then dying and death. So it has these 4 aspects that it goes through. And I just want to say thank you, Scorsese, for working so hard on this, and also De Niro and Pesci and Al Pacino. You know, Al Pacino is great as Hoffa. And everybody just, it's a great performance. But now I have to go see Motherless Brooklyn eventually. But this one was brilliant. So I'm watching the conversation on it. I just felt something come inside me, and I wanted to speak about Martin Scorsese's interpretation. And I want to get a hold of I Heard You Paint Houses to see if I could read it. I started reading another biography, I can't think of the title, about Frank Sheeran. And also the Wikipedia page too talks about Frank Sheeran. And I might sit down. I rarely sit down and read a whole book, but it might be one I pick up later on. And I am reading Motherless Brooklyn too. So anyway, thank you. And then I'm going to go back to watch the conversation about The Irishman.